At the very bottom of our world lies a continent unlike any other. A vast, frozen land, larger than Europe, buried beneath a sheet of ice miles thick. Almost no one has ever set foot upon it. But the true secret is not on its surface. It is far below. Because hidden deep beneath that ice, sealed away from the sky for millions of years, lies an entire world we are only just beginning to discover. Tonight you are going to descend into it. First, you must understand where you are. This is the coldest, driest, windiest place on the entire planet. Here, temperatures can fall far below anything a human could survive unprotected, cold enough to freeze your breath into falling crystals. The wind screams across the ice for hundreds of miles, unbroken. It is a white desert, more hostile than almost anywhere else on Earth. And yet, it is one of the most important places in the world. Everything here is defined by one thing: ice. The frozen sheet covering this land is, in places, nearly 3 miles thick, deep enough to swallow the tallest mountains whole. Locked inside it is the vast majority of all the fresh water on Earth. If you could stand upon its surface, you would have no idea. Beneath your feet would be miles of solid ice, and beneath that, a secret that has been kept for longer than our species has existed. On the surface, there is only white, a flat, endless plain of ice and snow stretching in every direction to the horizon. For half the year, the sun never sets, circling endlessly around the sky. And for the other half, it never rises at all, plunging the whole continent into months of frozen darkness. There is no sound here but the wind, no trees, no soil, no sign of life, just silence and ice. But that silence is hiding something. So let us go down. Imagine you could sink slowly through the ice, mile after mile. As you descend, you pass through layers of frozen time, snow that fell 1,000 years ago, then 10,000, then 100,000. The light fades, the pressure builds. Down here, the ice is older than any city, older than any pyramid. And still, you keep going down. Until at last the ice ends, and something extraordinary begins. Beneath the ice, there is land. Not a flat, featureless slab as you might expect, but an entire hidden landscape, one as dramatic and varied as any place on the surface of our planet. There are towering mountain ranges, deep, winding valleys, vast plains, a whole continent complete with its own geography, hidden entirely from view. A world that no human eye has ever seen, and it is far stranger than anyone imagined. Deep below the ice, there are mountains. Not small hills, but a great range, roughly the size of the European Alps, with jagged peaks and steep valleys. They rose up long ago, and then the ice came and buried them completely. Today they sit in total darkness, perfectly preserved, thousands of feet beneath the frozen surface. An entire mountain range with peaks that have never felt the sun, never seen the sky, never been touched by a single ray of light. And there is more. Carved into that buried land are canyons and gorges of staggering size. One of them plunges so deep that, if you remove the ice, it would be among the deepest canyons on the entire planet. These vast trenches were cut long ago and then sealed beneath the ice, frozen in place. Silent scars in a hidden world, holding secrets about how this frozen continent was born. But the strangest discovery of all lies in the darkness between the mountains. Water. Not ice, but liquid water. Scattered beneath the frozen sheet are hundreds of hidden lakes, kept from freezing by the warmth of the earth below and the crushing weight of the ice above. Entire lakes, trapped in eternal darkness beneath miles of solid ice. And one of them is truly astonishing. Deep beneath the ice lies a lake so large it rivals the greatest lakes on the surface. It stretches for hundreds of miles, hidden in perfect blackness. But here is the incredible part. This lake has been sealed away, cut off completely from the outside world, for millions upon millions of years, longer than there have been humans, longer than there have been many of the creatures we know today. An ancient, untouched world, frozen in time, in the dark. Which raises a haunting question. In that sealed lake, in total darkness, in freezing cold, cut off for millions of years, could anything possibly be alive? For a long time, it seemed impossible. And yet life has a way of surviving in places we would never expect. Even here, far from the sun, tiny living things may have found a way to endure, hidden survivors of an ancient world locked beneath the ice. And this is where the story becomes truly extraordinary. Because far out in space, on the frozen moons of distant planets, scientists believe there may be oceans of liquid water hidden beneath thick shells of ice. The very same conditions found here at the bottom of our own world. This buried lake is a rehearsal, a way to learn how to search for life on other worlds entirely. The secret beneath our ice may hold the key to the cosmos. But the strangest secret of all is written in the rock beneath the ice. Because this frozen continent was not always frozen. Long ago in the deep past, this land sat in a very different place, under a very different sky. It was warm, it was green, and it was covered, not in ice, but in vast, living forests. The proof is still there, hidden in the frozen ground. Buried within the rock lie the fossils of ancient trees, leaves, and plants. The remains of forests that once flourished, in a place that is now among the coldest on Earth. Long ago, this continent drifted slowly across the world until it reached the very bottom of the planet. And there, the great cold came and buried its green past beneath a tomb of ice. And in this land of endless cold, there is one final surprise. Fire. Hidden beneath the frozen surface, there are volcanoes. Some are long dead, but others still burn deep below the ice, melting it slowly from beneath. Imagine it, molten rock and searing heat, trapped under miles of frozen white. Fire and ice, locked together in the most extreme place on Earth. And all of this, the mountains, the lakes, the hidden fire, lies beneath an ice sheet that is far from still. The ice is alive. Slowly, silently, it flows, creeping toward the sea like a river made of stone. At its edges, great cliffs of ice break away, crashing into the ocean with a sound like thunder. This frozen giant is always moving, always changing, shaping and reshaping the hidden world beneath it. For all that we have learned, this remains one of the last true frontiers on Earth. We have mapped the surface of distant planets in greater detail than the land beneath this ice. Much of what lies down there is still a complete mystery. Hidden lakes we have never sampled, mountains we have never touched, and perhaps forms of life we have never seen. It is a whole world, right here on our own planet, still waiting to be explored. And yet, this hidden world is more fragile than it seems. The great ice sheet that has guarded these secrets for millions of years is sensitive to even small changes in our climate. What took ages to build could be altered within a human lifetime. The frozen vault that protects this ancient, untouched world is not as permanent as it looks. And once its secrets are disturbed, they can never be sealed away again. So the next time you picture the bottom of the world, do not imagine an empty sheet of white. Imagine instead what lies beneath. Buried mountains that have never seen the sun. Hidden lakes sealed in darkness for millions of years. The frozen ghosts of ancient forests. Fire burning quietly under the ice. An entire world hidden at the bottom of our own, silent, secret, and still almost completely unknown. It has been waiting there in the dark this whole time. and we are only just beginning to